when you're committed and you're on top of it, there's no other option. And I genuinely try to look at most things that I do in a very intense manner of like, I'm going to do this as good as I can. And I'm going to be somebody that's reliable and that you can count on. And I pride myself in that.
Have you considered the value in building relationships? And I don't mean just barely reaching out to somebody quickly and then never talking to them again, but really getting back to people, getting back to emails, every text message, every phone call, and scheduling as many meetings as possible and helping people passionately. That will change your business in a big way. And our guest today, Matt Teifke, he's a real estate entrepreneur in Austin, Texas. He runs Teifke Real Estate Brokerage with over 150 agents. He co-hosts the Real Estate Podcast and co-owns TRE Property Management Solutions and Longhorn Construction and Development. He is a huge believer in the power of connecting and adding value and seeks to shine a light on what is possible and grow with others. Matt goes into many details today about his drive to be an entrepreneur and how he's trying to help so many people, allowing them to come work for him, but to do what they're passionate about in his line of work. And he allows them to come and make what they want. So it's interesting, but he shares about how, just crazy schedule, right? We all think we're busy. He's very busy. He talks about how many emails, how many text messages are coming in every day, how, all the meetings he is trying to take with people and how he's trying to add value as much as possible, but how over time that has paid off in a big way. He goes into daily habits. He goes into his biggest challenge for this past year, and even a way that he would have improved his business if he could go back 10 years. You're going to learn a lot from Matt today. Matt, welcome to the show. I'm honored to have you on. I've enjoyed getting to learn a little bit about you and the business that you've built and your growth. I mean, running a brokerage and numerous entrepreneurial things, businesses and over 150 agents. And I'm looking forward to diving in and seeing how you've done that, whether it's how you're finding good people and managing that growth and encouraging them. Give us a little bit about, your current entrepreneurial maybe drive in your business and real estate, and let's jump in.
Yeah, very motivated to go accomplish things. I grew up with a single mom, and she was a hardcore grinder, and it kind of got in my blood, I guess. And it's 24/7. I just taught a class where we're cold calling for about an hour. I'm doing this with you. We're speaking to students at UT later today, which is a little unique day. But we love real estate and been really going all in for about 13 years. And I love getting around people. I love figuring out how to grow together. I've taken it to a level where I started of like, I want to learn every aspect about real estate that I possibly can. And I want to build a solid foundation and, got my master's degree, built a brokerage, sold a management company. And we feel very lucky and blessed to say we're in probably one of the best markets in the world here in Austin, Texas. And so our heads are down and we're working hard. And the ultimate goal is, how do we help people unlock the value that real estate can bring? And, we're confident, like we could lock the door and make a ton of money. And, money is obviously important and it means something, but we want to show other people how to do it. And we're very passionate about that with our agents. And so we've kind of created a unique system where we do have 150 agents. We say, hey, come here, build your own brand, build your own team, wholesale, raise capital, manage properties, do assignments, subject to, do whatever you want. And it's very unique from a brokerage perspective. And we're like the opposite of, hey, go call your sphere and, list properties. So we go all in on come here, make it what you want. We look at agents as partners and we try to figure out how do we grow together? How do we be unique? And then all along the process, we're constantly documenting it on every social media platform you can imagine. We're putting it out there. We're having fun, but we love this business and we think we understand some of the core principles that would make somebody successful. And we just want to figure out how do we kind of be different and push the limits and help people change their life through real estate, which is totally possible. And we're very passionate about trying to figure out how to help and also learning and growing with people ourselves.
Well, that's awesome. Now, it's so interesting that you share too, just about your single mother, and just how hard she worked and how, that seemed to have rubbed off on you. And I think there's probably many listeners who can relate to that in a big way, one way or another. But just your drive too for learning everything you can about real estate, and not only just keeping it all to yourself, but now just your drive to help so many other people. And it's not just like just investors, but your team, right? Allowing people to come in, 150 agents or more now. Speak to, or let's dive in a little bit about how you're finding those people, how you're finding those, the people you're looking to hire and bring on like that, like you're talking about.
Well, for about 6 years, no lie, I had, I think probably 3 to maybe 6, maybe more coffees or lunches every day. I'm very, very busy. Maybe some people would say it's a problem, but I'm just going all in. I mean, it's like, if you look at my phone book, there's a phone call every 2 minutes. There's a text every 10 seconds. I get hundreds of emails. So it was massive outbound. And I learned it. I started at a commercial brokerage out of college, and nobody would call me back. None of these brokers. And then I learned, like, if you go meet these guys for coffee or lunch, they get to know you, then they'll call you back. So I learned the value of building relationships maybe 6, 7 years ago. And I went all in on it. So I was just constantly talking to everyone I could, whether they're super successful or they're just getting their license or they're in high school. I store their number, I stay in touch, I add value. And over time, it's just a massive network. And then also through our social media channels, it's like, hey, we're like, literally, if you go look at some of this stuff, it's every day, right? Every day is a new video. And there's hours and hours and full-time salary positions for these positions. And so people reach out and we communicate that way. We're like, I'm like, probably maybe one of the easiest people to ever get a hold of. I don't miss a call, don't miss a text. And it all started from when I was 17 years old and like really wanting a lead. And if I had this fear of like, if I miss the call, they're calling the next agent, and I haven't lost that. And so we're very easy to get a hold of, and it's constant outbound and inbound and just massive amount of conversations.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the focus on like never missing a call or text. And I have to ask you, to share a little bit about the management side of that, especially in your position. I know I've struggled with that. It's like, I want to get back to people as fast as I can, but hundreds and hundreds of emails a day amongst the text messages, just like you're experiencing, it's a struggle, right? And my assistant and I have put in systems, just so we can ensure we're getting back to every email and all those things. But, speak to that a little bit, how you do that and do it so well, because I know the listener wants to do that as well as they're, growing their business.
Well, I do have a full-time assistant, which a lot of these things, like if people reach out or they email or text, I just say, Leah, help me schedule this. But I'm not going to lie, man, it's hardcore. Like, it's just when you're committed and you're on top of it, there's no other option. And I genuinely try to look at most things that I do in a very intense manner of like, I'm going to do this as good as I can. And I'm going to be somebody that's reliable and that you can count on. And I pride myself in that. Like, for my friends or my family or whoever, it's like, if you need me, I'm here. It's probably very rarely, like, my phone broke a couple years ago, and I was like, I was not in a good position. And this isn't the best for everybody. It's obviously important to have balance, but the way I'm approaching things is like, I'm trying to accomplish something. And in order to accomplish something great, I looked at people that I respect in those kind of manners. And I think about Kobe Bryant, right? It's like Kobe Bryant would have 2 practices before the normal practice started. And I genuinely try to approach a lot of things that I do in life in that fashion.
Speak to your schedule then a little bit. I have to ask, because I know the listeners are, they're just like, you were just briefly talking about how, we all feel like we're busy, right? And then you look to somebody like Kobe Bryant and the success and what they did to get there. And they're doing 2 practices before the actual practice, where everybody else that was just showing up for the one practice felt like they were really busy too. Right. So speak to your schedule and how you maintain a schedule like that. And so in a way that, there's still some life there, right? I assume you probably have some family or friends that you want to spend some time with outside of work or business.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, I have gotten burnt out before. Like when you're doing 6 meetings and you're having these calls and texts, it's a burnout. So I realized like I can only do like 2 or 3 meetings with people and be able to like give like my full attention and energy. So I learned that I cut off meetings at 3:30 for the most part. I do go home and I pick up my kids, but I just stay on top of like from 5 to 7. And it's not by any means perfect. I've been working on this from 5 to 7. I try to put my phone away. And then, I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and work for 2 hours pretty regularly. And so I might not be the best person to talk about balance, but I try when I can. And I do believe that I have a lot of people that help me and a lot of support. And it's not like I'm 24/7 working, but I'm in it 24/7. Like I'm here. And I don't really look at what I heard one time was work-life harmony. I don't really think of it as work-life balance. Like I'm working, now I'm not. It's just like, it's all one life. And whether I'm having beers with a friend or we're closing deals at the same time, like I'm not trying to say there's a huge difference. And so I try to set up a life that I enjoy. I try to get around a lot of good people that can give me energy. I focus on having the best relationship I can with God and Christ. And that helps me rejuvenate and realize what's more important in life. And ultimately just learning as I go. Like I definitely don't have this perfect schedule, but we're doing a lot and we're trying to figure out the balance constantly. I definitely need my assistant and I need my partners, but things always change. Like we found this deal that it's 25 houses in Austin, which is rare. And I'm like, we might need to stop everything we're doing for the next 90 days and start raising capital. And that's kind of what's cool about real estate is like, there's always a new direction and a new thing you can focus on. There's always a new deal around the corner. And this guy that had this property just reached out from our website and just was like, I got 25 properties. And that's very rare here. And so it's always evolving. Like I'm at a point now where I'm probably going to stop doing as many in-person meetings. Unfortunately, this is valuable, but I've kind of learned that I am here and I do care about people, but I kind of have to lead by example. And I can't go give everybody an hour of my time as much as I really want to, because the fact is I do have a goal and I'm trying to accomplish something. And very few people are extremely serious about what they're doing or what they say they're doing. Maybe they're serious about other things and there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe they're serious about watching every episode of a certain Netflix show. And there's nothing like I watch movies, but the problem is when you say that you want to make money and you say that you want to cold call and you say that you want to find deals, but you don't do anything about it, I just unfortunately can't be meeting with you. And I don't want to feel that way. I've just learned the hard way. It's like, I have to get around the people that are very serious. And myself, like you said, I'm trying to meet with other people that have done a lot more than I have in business and are been around longer. And when I get around them, I respect the fact that I'm not here to waste their time. So I have to be the same way, unfortunately, I believe, to lead by example for other people. And it's a challenge, but I'm always learning and trying to work through it the best I can, if that all resonates in some way.
It does in a big way. I know when I first started the first few years, it's like, I'll talk to anybody. It's like, man, just anybody schedule a call, right? And you just never know who that person's going to be. And then over time, my wife is like, man, you have to scale some of those back, right? You have to stop taking all those calls. But it's because it's exactly what you just mentioned. Then I've told my assistant to question me, is this the best use of my time? Is this appointment worth that time? And really help me think through some of those. And even unfortunately, she has to be the bad guy often to say, sorry, he just can't do that right now, or take that.
Here's one thing I've learned is that because there's a lot of people that haven't want to meet with me over the years. And I don't know about with you, but I would believe that if somebody really wants to meet with you bad enough, they can find a way. And so that's what I resonate with is like, I don't want to be turning people away, but the ones that are serious and want it bad enough, it will happen. I've gotten, in the room with billionaires that literally told me no, probably 50 times. And they're like, I don't really know how you got in this room, but you're here. And now we're talking, right?
So now let's talk.
So that's how I find comfort is like, yeah, you have to turn it away in some sense. You don't necessarily have to, say I'm never talking to you. It's like, well, how can I help you? And you help them in a quick fashion. But the people that really want to plug in, there is a way to make it happen. I believe that.
Speak to, what's caused the growth, speak to the business growth, company growth. Was there a time that it took off in a big way, or has it been very steady? And maybe just speak to some of those things that you were doing, whether that's educating yourself or being around other people that are doing it, or something you did internally or applied that helped you to streamline some growth.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of great support, just constantly adding and figuring out how to get people on fire and love what they do. But I would just say in general, as you know, I'm sure that the beautiful thing about real estate is the snowball effect. And so every year in every way, if you're approaching with some principles of like, do what you say you're going to do, follow up, stay in touch, add value. I'm sure there's other ones, but if you do those things, every single thing gets better. Your net worth goes up. You make more money. You have more resources of people. You have better banking connections. Just every single thing gets better every year, and it turns into a pretty massive compound effect. And it's 14 years for me, and I've had the same mindset since day one. I haven't really let up. And so it's just, I feel like if you look at anybody who's serious about what they do and committed over a long period of time, of course it's going to be something big. Like the church that I went to 10 years ago, I went and it's like 1,000 or 2,000 people. I was like amazed, or actually it was probably like 5,000. And I was pretty amazed. And I was like, well, why should I be? This is what happens when you're consistent and you put in work, but it takes a long time.
It does.
And 99% of people, unfortunately, in real estate don't seem to understand that, and they give up too early. And it's a sad thing. And I'd love to help with that any way I can. And it's like, you hate to just say you have to see the results one time. It's almost like you gotta look at, like when I do phone call with people, I don't really care about the results. I'm like, did I do a good job on that phone call? Did I have a win on that call? And it's not about any kind of destination, but it's like, am I just getting better? And am I enjoying this at the same time? And then you look up and, it's pretty crazy.
It's about those small, daily, consistent actions, right? It's so true. It's like you feel like you're doing nothing hardly in the moment, or you didn't accomplish much. But man, 6 months later, or a year later, or 18 months, you see massive growth. And so it reminds me of a book, though. I don't know if you've heard of it, called 5 Feet from Gold.
I haven't.
It's like, about stopping or quitting too soon,
Sure.
Right? You're so close and just didn't keep going. Speak to, though, maybe some daily habits that you have, Matt, that have helped you achieve this level of success.
I try to get into the Word every day. I try hard to work out. I work out twice a week for sure. And I try to swim every day. It usually turns to every other day. I swam this morning. I love swimming. It's like, I don't have my phone around. It's so peaceful. I'm just in this interesting state and I've really gotten into it in the last like 2-3 months. And then other than that, man, get my mind right the best I can, and then just grind, like just get in it. I'm usually meeting at least 2 to 3 people per day, just sitting down and talking. And then I'm just staying on top of everything I can. And we're closing deals, and we're closing new agents that are coming to grow with us. We're getting leads for our construction company. We're getting properties that we manage. Like we offer a lot. And so that's one of the cool things is we've figured out how to do one thing, but to maximize our time, but starting with adding value for you or whoever we're talking to. And I am 100% in belief, based on that I put in the work and that I've committed to this, that if I find somebody that's serious about real estate, there is a way that I can add value for them or for you. And I just have to figure what that is. And then if I do that, then something will happen down the line. And if I do that, and maybe it will, but if I do that enough, for sure, something definitely will. And so it's like, I'm confident in myself and the work that I put in, that like, regardless if I'm talking to a kid in high school or like the CEO of Blackstone or any kind of, Sam Zell, like there is a way that I can add value. And I'm like, how can I figure out how to do that?
Love that thought of being able to add value to others in that way and figuring that out. I just wondered, now that you've been in business this many years and this many meetings, how many of those meetings are people seeking you versus you seeking them?
At this point, it's a lot less of me seeking them, which probably shouldn't be that way, I would imagine. But like I was saying, I'm kind of in this transition phase where I'm going to be a little bit harder, but like I'm teaching this class 2 times a week, which I've probably done like 20 classes, and we just get on here and we're like, let's make some money. And so I'm saying, hey, like, just come join my class. Like, I don't want to schedule a meeting, just come to the class. And so like, that's the transition phase. But at the same time, I think there's obviously always people to learn from. I just kind of feel like at this point, I have enough connections and I know enough people that I don't really need to know that many more. I just need to go drum up opportunities and then use those to get things done.
Yeah. And keep cultivating probably the ones you already have. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about, what's a big challenge that you've had this past year?
Just figuring out where to put my time, just kind of like all the things I'm alluding to. And I believe this for anybody. It's like whatever you want to do, you can accomplish. But I've just been around a lot of people, like pretty big time guys. And they're like, Matt, like you can do whatever you want. You just have to know what you want to do. And I believe that. And so it's just figuring out like, what direction do we go? Where do I spend my time? And how do I just keep getting better and better and not waste my time, unfortunately, because I've more than like probably anybody. It's like, you want to sit down and meet with me? Like no questions asked, like meet me here. And we get there and I'm like, this guy's playing video games like 8 hours a day. And I'm like, I can tell that. Right. And I'm like, in my head, like this is a complete waste of and that's like one of our most, it is right, most valuable resource. And so that's been a struggle of like, how do I stop or never do that again? Because you don't get that back.
Right.
And like I said, I want to help, but like, you want to meet with me, come to the class and you know, then we'll meet later if you go do something.
Put in some effort, right? Yeah, I agree. It's been a real struggle for myself, and it's just a constant battle. But what would you say? With your years of experience now and growing the business like you have, and continuing to grow, and now even just struggles of calendar now, what would you do differently if you could go back 10 years?
There's probably only one thing, and I think I would have just simply built a better CRM from day one, because I was always just like go, run my head through the wall. And if I would have taken it a little bit slower and taken notes and put people's contact info, and I was in college in Corpus Christi, and I probably helped like 30 people buy houses, and I can't remember who they are, and I've never talked to them again. Unfortunately, I'm not proud of that. But like if I would have, I could be getting leads to our agents, or I could be raising capital from them for our fund. So as much as you want to go accomplish stuff, and it seems to be kind of easy nowadays with just, there's a lot of easy money, and there's, things are good. It's like, you can just go, but try to build the system at the same time and you'll do a lot more. So it's simply, I would have had a really good CRM that I would have documented things much better with.
No, wise words. What about any predictions just for our, the real estate market over the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah. I mean, the obvious things, rates are going up, right? I'm kind of in this little bubble in Austin where I'm drinking the Kool-Aid and I'm saying, go out on a limb. I'm like, this is going to be one of the biggest markets in the world. I believe that. There's just massive jobs and people, and all of a sudden, San Antonio's connected to Dallas, right? And it's all just one megaplex. And so I think real estate is going to be fine. Like it's proven time and time again. If you stick to some core principles, don't get over leveraged, buy below value, have good exit plan. I don't really care what happens, because we're just going to adapt. And that's what we promote, is like, come be a real estate professional and don't be reliant on listings or buyer clients or simply one aspect. And so I don't think too much about it. But if I had to say something, I think real estate, even though rates go up, real estate is just going to be just fine.
What's your best source for meeting new investors right now?
Good question. Probably through online. Like we did a call today where we were on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, YouTube Live, and all these people are jumping in, learning about our deals. We have a pretty big database as well. We get connections through our agents, but really we're just constantly putting stuff. And that's the way, I think the only way to get like real scale is to be on social media and online. And so not only is it the biggest, but we see the most value and potential with it.
Speak to, behind that, just a little bit about the marketing, maybe department or people or team that you have that helps do that.
Yeah, we got this guy, Andrew, sitting right across from me. We grew up together and known each other since, 6 years old. And he was a middle linebacker in high school. He always gets mad when I say that, but just a good dude. And, he's really good at what he does. And we've got, if you can see this right now, there's multiple cameras and lights and this whole room set up for that. And then we got a girl named Kat, and they work together, and Kat's really special, and they're just all in. Like that's literally their focus. And we have spent time and resources and money and everything for a long time. And very few people commit to it the way we do. And I have no judgment about it, but like, people have a hard time understanding what the return is and what the value is. And we don't even really care to measure it too much. We know it's there. We just don't even really know how to see it, honestly. But like, I don't know, maybe what we did is part of the reason we're on this podcast, or an investor invests in our fund and we don't realize, but he's been watching our YouTube channel for 5 years. And so it's a really big commitment, and we try hard to do it right. We try hard to do it better every single time, and we're committed to it. And whether we have the following or not, we're going to keep doing it. And it's important to us. And it's important in the sense of like, we want to get this out there of who we are and what we believe in and what we're about. And we just stick with it, man. It's a full-time job for actually probably 4 people. We have some VAs that do editing, and we believe in it.
What are some of the most important metrics that you track
for social media?
Either one. I just mean like you personally, if like right now you're going to pick, 3 of the top metrics, whether it's, your employees, or whether it's something you're doing yourself, or whether it's social media, whatever that may be, what would those be?
Yeah. So we run our business on Traction, if you've heard of that.
Oh yeah. EOS.
Yeah. So everyone has their KPIs and their rocks. I'm technically considered the visionary on the board, right? So like I don't have as many KPIs or rocks, but just constantly new direction. But obviously the numbers, right? We look at the revenue and profit. We look at the amount of agents that have joined the team. And then we're looking at how many deals are we getting done and what's happening with net worth and assets. That's the big picture for me. My partner, Alex, is very detailed on like, profit margin and everything like that. And we're similar in a lot of ways, but very different. I'm the, sales go-getter, kind of new ideas. And Alex is the lock me in the room, let me draw on the chalkboard and do some systems and operations. And so we divide it like that. So he'd be the better guy to explain the fine-tuned details. But for me, it's like, are we growing? Are we getting better? Are we adding value? And most importantly, are we being different and unique?
What's the number one thing that's contributed to your success?
The people, the people that are around us, and the people that we try hard to get them to a point where they love what they do and they can, be at a place of peace. And I've hated the idea of like cycling through employees or agents and like just being profitable to be profitable and make money and just cycle through. It's like, I want to be around people that are going to be here in 20 years. And that's how I've seen people build really big and special businesses. So just good people, man. Like people are bought in and they love it and they can promote and support and get as much out of it that they want.
Give a couple tips on helping people to be bought in like that, employees that want to stay long-term like that with you.
I think the simple thing is whenever somebody, you have to inspire and lead for people to buy in, but the way to keep people bought in is to be accountable. And so it's literally that simple. It's like, they're already bought in. Now, how do I be accountable to keep them on the team? And that, to me, that means I'm here. I'm, you ain't waiting on me. I'm doing what I say I'm going to do. I was talking to one of our agents at 10:30 last night for an hour and a half, and they know that I'll do that. So it's just being accountable once people have already bought in.
Some wise words. I loved how you said that. Inspire, lead, and then be accountable as well.
Thanks. And I got to give a shout out. I got that from my pastor.
That's awesome. That's awesome. A great person to get some wise words from. That's for sure. So how do you like to give back?
I would say the biggest thing would be time. I do put 10% of everything I make to the church. And then I try to go out of my way to help people that I feel like want it. But like I said, there's that challenge there of like trying to figure, the challenge is like, how do you figure out who really wants it? And if people really want it, I'm here. But I can't be here for people that say they want it and they don't. So it's just figuring out that balance.
Matt, I've enjoyed getting to know you a little bit and having you on the show. I mean, not everyone, just as you have said, can grow or put in the steps that's needed to grow and scale a business like you have. And so I'm grateful for the time. And tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you and learn more about you.
Yeah, we're very easy. Check us out on any platform, TRE, Teifke Real Estate on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and just reach out. mattteifke@gmail.com is my email. Phone number, happy to give it, 512-914-4806. And I will get back to you. And like I said, we're very easy to get a hold of, but check us out, teifkerealestate.com. And we're here to provide as much value as we possibly can and try to not talk so much, but be about it.
Thank you for being a loyal listener of the show. Please subscribe and share it with your friends. We want to help you become the passive investor you've always wanted to become, but also the operator you've always wanted to become. We want to be the number one resource for your real estate investing journey. But go to lifebridgecapital.com where you can start investing in real estate today.